So thank you so much, Georgia, for joining me to talk about your work at the Juice Academy. And you're one of our enterprise advisors, and we wanted to really talk to you about the digital sector. But first, just tell me a little bit about the Juice Academy and what you do.
Yeah, of course. Well, hi Emma, and thanks so much for having me. So the Juice Academy, we're a not-for-profit digital marketing apprenticeship programme, and we specifically deliver the junior content producer level 3. So we work with businesses. Well, in the past, it's just been focused to Northwest. And so we work with businesses to help them find and recruit young people, young apprentices, to help them with their digital marketing and social media channels and content creation. So over the last 7 years, we've created nearly 400 jobs and worked with probably 250 plus employers. And now, since lockdown, we've actually been able to start working with nationwide employers because now everything's online.
So that's really interesting, because I wonder whether, careers leaders, careers advisors and other people in school actually know that there are apprenticeships working in social media. So is that quite a new thing?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been going for 7 years. We were actually the UK's first industry-led social media program. And when I say industry-led, because we're part of Tangerine Communications, which is a marketing agency. So they are the ones who deliver all the training in the academy. So we were very unique when we started out, and there's still not really many companies around like us. So we've always gone into schools and colleges and careers fairs, and only the last couple of years has it really started to click and register that it's a job, I think. When we started 7 years ago, it was, I think a lot of teachers, certainly parents, would shun their students away from our stand because they didn't understand. It was just like, oh, so that social media thing isn't really a job, whereas it is. And it's so it's so technical. It's not just posting on social media, which is what people think. There's strategies behind it. It's all about communication and people and audiences and psychology, and that's just one small role in the digital industry.
And for a company, I suppose it's a massive part of their customer service, their marketing, and also their revenue generating. So, it's huge, isn't it? So just if you can give a view of the digital sector. I know the digital sector is so broad, but from maybe March onwards, what's been happening? What's been the feeling amongst digital companies about COVID and other opportunities and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's sort of, at first it was probably a bit mixed, a bit up and down, everyone's sort of getting to grips with what's happening. But I think really, not only it's proven to be a really resilient industry, but, just so progressive and adaptive. And obviously the fact that like all businesses have had to create a digital strategy, first of all, from going sort of remote working, they needed new digital software, hardware, and then thinking about all the companies that needed new apps, social media and digital comms support, telecom support, so for their customers and communicating with the customers as well as obviously their employees. So I think this has led to like a lot of opportunities for businesses in the digital industry, and therefore from that there's an increased demand for digital roles, programmers, coders, cybersecurity and digital marketers. It is sort of what I see, and the companies that we work with, and obviously our agency Tangerine being a digital agency. So I think there's actually been many opportunities.
So the future, although in some sectors it's looking a bit shaky, but in digital, would you say that it's a pretty safe bet that there are going to be more opportunities in the digital sector, whatever that might be?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think there's probably going to be even newer roles that are going to come out of this that are even more specific than they ever have been before. So yeah, I it's a very strong and stable industry. I think that, you know, that's what I would say.
So you've talked a little bit about the trends that you're seeing, you know, cybersecurity go up and that sort of thing. And of course, now you are able to work with young people across the country, but you did start in Greater Manchester, so we had you first. Why do you think Greater Manchester is becoming this sort of digital hub? I've seen the news recently that, you know, a lot of digital companies are coming to Manchester. What is it about us that you like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, you know, that has been on the agenda for years, hasn't it? That, you know, we've got it's that forward thinking, you know, I think, and diverse as well. Obviously, you know, yes, London is the, you know, can be like the capital, the most diverse, but I think Manchester's not too far behind at all. And, you know, I think that a lot of companies are seeing that there's a lot of room for growth in Manchester, and it's received with the right attitude and that kind, like I say, that kind of forward thinking. And people do want diverse workforces. Now, you know, that is what people are looking for. They can see the stats show that it increases productivity and everything. So I think that's a key factor with Manchester.
We do like to do things differently in
Yes.
Greater Manchester.
Yeah.
And just a little bit about the sort of skills that you look for you know, people coming onto your courses at the Juice Academy. So, you know, thinking about if you want to go into digital, social media, coding or whatever, you know, what are the skills that you need and that you look for in young people?
Well, actually, the skills isn't too much on what we focus, because the skills we do teach on the programme. So we're looking for those kind of soft skills, the transferable skills, people skills, communication skills. You know, first of all, they have to have a maths and English GCSE A to C, and we can do functional skills with them on programme, but you know, the candidates that we do focus on are those that have already got those grades. But when, you know, you're doing the application process, filtering through and sending them to employers, it's those ones that can make themselves stand out. The enthusiastic individuals that have things to talk about. You know, it doesn't have to be related to the industry. We appreciate that they've not got experience, and that's why they're going to do the apprenticeship. But, you know, if they've done voluntary work, charity work, extracurricular things, if they've done an online, you know, a free online course, things that they've gone out of their way to do extra and added, it just stands out, you know, so much. So those are the kind of things that, you know, the employers are looking for, because it's not really high skilled people. I mean, they couldn't do an apprenticeship if they had lots of skills in the sector. You know, we're here to teach them the industry skills, the digital skills. We need that foundation of the work and the life skills, and those things that where we know that we can put them in the workplace and they don't need too much hand holding to get them to where we want to be. If they've already got those, if from school they've learned the work and the life skills, the transferable skills that they can bring into the workplace, those are the candidates that are going to be more likely to be employed.
Wow. So the softer skills that you can learn, you know, at school are really, really important. So, as important as, you know, the academic side.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Right. So that's a very clear message to careers leaders out there, how important, you know, a good solid careers programme is to, you know, the outcomes for those young people.
Absolutely, because the other thing as well is that it stands out if you can tell that this is the career that they want to be in. But how do they know that it's the career they want to be in if they've not, you know, had exposure to it, or, you know, if they've not had someone come in and talk to them about it, that's what gets them excited and passionate. So then when you know, at the moment we get them to do a video CV as part of their application. So you can tell those ones that are excited about this industry and this role, and, you know, they talk about how much it's helped through the pandemic with, you know, different sort of, well, everything digital basically. And you know, you can tell that they've seen it, they've had some sort of exposure before through the school, or it, you know, it could be like parents or whatever, but, you know, a lot of people don't have that opportunity, so it does need to come through the schools.
And I wonder whether, because of the pandemic, and we're all seeing how much pressure businesses are under, if schools and careers leaders are just a little bit concerned about reaching out and getting in touch with businesses to see if they can help. You know, as a local business, what do you think, you know, businesses feel about helping schools?
Yeah, I think at the start it might have been difficult, because for a lot of businesses it was either kind of like a fight for survival, or they were so busy they could only focus on the job at hand. But, you know, now, because this is not going anywhere, let's face it, so everyone's been very adaptive and put, you know, new they've adapted to the current environment. So whether it's like a change in their like product or service, or they've just simply employed more staff, they now, you know, I think they're definitely wanting to give back and start helping schools. So if they are receiving that contact and communication with clearly, then you know, I do think that they're interested to work. Because also one of the other things is, as well, with everything being done remotely now, it takes a lot less time for someone to help. You know, they can just jump on Teams or whatever, rather than having to take out half a day to commute to the school. So it's actually probably made it a bit more accessible for employers to help. So
careers leaders ask for help. They can only say no, but businesses will probably say yes. So don't get.
Yeah.
So we're really lucky that you do volunteer as an enterprise advisor, and you've been working with Careers Leader in a college, I think it is. And if there are any careers leaders out there who are potentially new to the role, or still sort of grappling a little bit with the role, and know that one of the big tasks and big hurdles is growing that business network around the school, but they don't know where to start, what would be your sort of hints and tips to that careers leader?
Well, yeah, I think myself, being as an enterprise advisor, and the careers lead at the school and college that I help with, we've worked well together the past sort of year and a half, and keeping in communication about everything that's sort of ongoing, and where I can help, where I can feed that business network into her. So I guess the first piece of advice would be to use your enterprise advisor, and just make sure that you're looping them in with all the ongoings at school, and also probably be quite specific about what you do need. It really helps me when my careers lead says, look, we're really looking for people in the construction industry, and we want them in March. That really helps me, rather than just, I need help. To be really clear and specific, it's much better.
Yeah, rather than that general ask for help. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one of the other things as well, and I can't say that this is my idea, but it's what I've seen my careers lead do and do successfully, is use her the school supply chain. So any businesses that suppliers that the school work with, reach out to them. Like you said before, they can only say no, but you know, usually they'll want to help. And even if it's not their business that can, they can ask other businesses, you know, businesses know businesses, and so on.
And you know, businesses and your enterprise advisor will be really used to networking. So, you know, can they network on your behalf? So if you can't get out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, obviously now the events aren't going on, but there's still, online things and breakout rooms and one-on-one chats and stuff like that. So you can definitely still, network even in these times, and, tag along with the enterprise advisor. And, I can imagine it feeling maybe a bit sort of a scary world if you've not done that kind of thing before, but if you've got your support from the enterprise advisor, and also people are going to these things sort of wanting to help, and they're really supportive communities, I think, with networking groups. So you should never feel like you're turning up there and you asking too much. It's not that kind of thing. It's everyone wanting to support businesses. And I think going back to the Manchester vibe, like each other, and we know that's the way that we're going to grow, by doing that, and of course helping the schools and the young people come through.
Absolutely. So we're sort of coming to the end. Is there anything else that you want to add, either from your personal perspective, business perspective, digital, that you would really like careers leaders and schools to know and understand about your industry?
Well, first of all, going specifically to our industry, is that it's growing. It's probably the most growing industry that there is. I know that's a bold statement, but I just don't. It's not going anywhere. There's going to be so many new roles, and it's just such a fantastic career for young people to get into as early as possible, because we see it now. There's actually so much that they have already ingrained in them through growing up in the digital world that we never had. So they automatically are going to be better at us than our jobs in 5 years, even if we're like 30 years experience in, because they're these digital natives. So, it's a really key and an important career, and it's not going anywhere. And then specific advice in terms of from a business and wanting to help and work with schools. I would say just be really clear on your comms when going out to businesses. What exactly do you want from them? A date and a time, a specific presentation, a specific person from what industry. Just having everything really clear and laid out in one form of communication. So say if it's just like the one email, then that really helps businesses, because we're busy. So if there's too much sort of information coming from different sides, or it's not very clear, then things can get lost in translation. So that's what I'd say is really important.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Georgia, and we really appreciate your time, and you've given us a brilliant insight into the Juice Academy and the broader digital sector in Greater Manchester, and we really look forward to continuing to work with you in the Enterprise Advisor Network. So thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Emma. It's been great.
That's wonderful. I'm keeping it recording because sometimes some juicy bonuses come up after we stop. So I'll clip this, but just in case. That's great. Thank you. And I think that gives everyone a really good flavour of, if you're not exposing young people to digital jobs, why not?
Yeah.
Because that's where the job's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think just a lot of people don't realise that still. And I think all of the bad things that have happened over the last few months, year, let's try and focus on the positive things, and what's come out of it that's actually building our society and adding to it, rather than focusing on all the negatives, because I see a lot of negatives. But just seeing at the start, we weren't even sure what was going to happen with the Juice Academy, because everyone's like put the recruitments on freezes, and we just didn't know what was going to happen. And then I think after the initial couple of months panic, everyone then realised that this is here to stay. We've just got to do new things and have new processes to make it work. So then recruitment started again, obviously just doing it a different way, doing it remotely. And that need, we just saw the need, the demand for these, you know, specifically our apprentices, our digital roles, digital marketing roles, just saw. So we usually do 4 cohorts every year, 3 months apart, and we've done 3 cohorts in the last 3 months. That's how busy it's been. So we've created 45, 50 jobs in 3 months, where it's usually 60 a year. So that the demand has really been there, you know. So
that's fantastic. And one thing that I should have asked you was like the earning potential in these jobs. I mean, what's that like?
I think limitless, to the point where people can't tell you really what's right for this role, what's right for that role. And as the demand's there now, I've seen people in my industry, you know, friends that I know of, who from one company to the next is just seeing a huge pay rise because another company's seen their value because they need them, you know, and the other companies asking for them back and this. So, you know, and I think because as well that because the roles are ever changing, and like I said before, there's going to be roles that we don't even know exist yet, but they will in, you know, a couple of years time. So who knows what the sort of salary band is going to be for these kinds of roles. And, you know, looking at the kind of real coder programmer side of things, there's a huge demand there. And they're on high salaries, you know, the companies need them, they will pay for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the wrong job. I should learn coding, shouldn't I?
I know.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Georgia. I'll let you go because you're clearly very busy, so it's much appreciated.
All right, thanks, Emma.
Thank you. See you.